Rating systems are messed up. Not grading systems like in Devil May Cry or other combat games, I mean specifically rating systems game reviewers and average gamers use. Everyone rates everything on an arbitrary spectrum that boils down to personal opinion, and then they share it as if it's a fact. Not to mention, everything's either a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. Most people don't even rate on the spectrum. Either something's garbage or it's Kino, the best game ever, greater than anything that could ever exist. And that's only because they can't look at something with any sort of remote objectivity. But that doesn't stop them from acting like it is objective. Yako CMN mentioned in his recent video about video game criticism that people on Steam use that stupid template to rate games they've played. Here's the problem. Every single part of that template is based on opinion. There is no concrete way to define taste in music or the feeling of gameplay. Even rating difficulty is based on a person's own experience and preference in games. Someone who's never played an action game like Devil May Cry could say it's Dark Souls difficulty, while Let Me Solo Her would consider it a walk in the park. And if someone likes a game, they hesitate to criticize it. I find that ridiculous. It's okay to point out the flaws in the things you love. That's how the creators can improve in the future. Criticizing a game doesn't take away the value you see in it, but it does make others aware of something they may not want to deal with. A recent example for me is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The game is amazing, the story is fantastic, the gameplay is unique. However, I hate the accessory menu. Yes, it's very minor, yes, it's very stupid, but here's the thing. I don't like how it navigates. The function of it makes sense, and yes, there's the sorting. I just think it should be much bigger, not like 5 lines of items. I just hope maybe other people will complain about it, so Monolith Soft will maybe patch it. That doesn't mean I love the game less, I just dislike one small part of an otherwise fantastic experience. But bringing that up with people makes them think I must not like Xenoblade 3 because I criticized it. That's stupid, I just don't like the accessory menu. The fact that people refuse to acknowledge both positives and negatives in media is also why we get the issue of everything being either a 1 or a 10. A game is either perfect and, like I said before, better than anything that could ever come from it, or it's garbage and a waste of money. I've seen people literally review bomb Stray's score simply because it's a short game. That makes no sense to me. If you're going to use a spectrum of numbers for a score, use the spectrum. Make it an 8 or 9 out of 10 because of the short playtime. That doesn't take away from the strong story it has, or the experience of it, or all the other positives the game has. And this also relates to bad games and movies too. I abhor the Monster Hunter movie, but I still say it's a 4 out of 10. There's good CGI and the acting's actually decent. It's just the writing and my personal connection to Monster Hunter that brings the score of the movie way down. And even though I hate it, I can admit it's not a 1 out of 10 movie. There are things that are good about it, and there are people who may like those things enough to watch the movie. And another reason I think it's really important people use the spectrum is because there truly are 1 out of 10 and 10 out of 10 pieces of art out there. But here's the thing. It's all personal. Rating systems are fundamentally personal, so saying everything you love is a 10 and everything you hate is a 1 makes a score lose all meaning. If everyone holds content with the same 2-score rating system, everyone takes it badly. If you think something is a 10 and someone else says it's a 1 based solely on the fact that they don't use the spectrum, no discussion can be had about why you scored the game the way you did. Even if one person in this hypothetical argument uses the 8 other options, it immediately opens up the conversation. For example, I personally think Elden Ring is an 8 out of 10 game. My friends, on the other hand, consider it a 10 out of 10. But they were open to listening to my reasoning and understand why I'm not a fan of the writing and vague storytelling of the game. It doesn't lessen my enjoyment of the game itself, just one facet of it. I spent hundreds of hours in Elden Ring. I still restart it all the time. I think it's an enjoyable and amazing experience. It's one of a kind. It became a zeitgeist to the point that there are people who don't play games that know about it. It's astounding. But personally, I think the way the story is written is weak. Not that the story itself is weak, the way it's written. I don't like that the best way for me to learn the story is to watch Vati Vidya's videos. Yes, they're amazing and I love watching his content, but I also like learning the story from the game. And unless I put in hours of specifically researching, I will never understand a From Software game. That's not good to me. That lowers the score of a game for me. It does not make the game worse. One final kind of major thing people don't consider is that rating systems just don't make sense. They're incredibly similar to the grades we receive in school, but different schools and regions have different scores. And even similar scores can mean different things. For me, 90% or above was an A, but I knew folks who got an A for getting more than 80%. And forget percentages, some schools had a system of rating from 1 to 4 or 5, and within that, some of them used 1 as a high score, while others used 5. It's completely random. It makes no sense. The systems are in place to give as many students a passing grade as possible. Everyone wants to feel positively about themselves, and in turn, rating systems are used to make us feel good about our choices. Or at least write about the things we like and hate. Because we don't want to admit that, hey, this thing we don't like that you like has decent parts of it. It's okay that you don't like something, but you admit that it has decent parts. I guess this is a long way of me saying that it's okay to criticize stuff you like or admit things you hate have good parts. And stop arbitrarily assigning numbers and letters to stuff to justify our tastes. Except tier lists. Those are okay. Thanks for watching. As per usual, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Take care of yourselves, and remember to drink your juice boxes.